This is video 12 in a 15-part series on Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich, and today we're diving into Chapter 12, The Subconscious Mind. The subconscious mind is one of the most powerful and mysterious forces we carry within us. It is always working, whether we realize it or not, shaping our results and molding the experiences that eventually become our reality. What Hill is teaching us in this chapter is that we have direct access to influence this invisible partner, and that by learning how to properly guide it, we can transform our deepest desires into tangible prosperity. And this message has a unique importance for people in the second half of life, because after 40, the subconscious has already been fed for decades with experiences, beliefs, and habits. Some of them help us move forward, but many others hold us back. The challenge, and at the same time the opportunity, is that you can still reprogram it and unlock a new level of prosperity, no matter how many years have passed. Think about it for a moment. Every single thought that you dwell on, every feeling that you allow to dominate your inner world, makes an impression on your subconscious mind. Those impressions do not simply disappear. They gather, they repeat, they accumulate. Over time, they act like seeds dropped into fertile soil, and eventually they grow into habits, into attitudes, into results. If most of those seeds have been fear, doubt, worry, scarcity, or feelings of failure, then the harvest is predictable. You'll see struggle and limitation repeating again and again. But if you learn to plant seeds of faith, courage, determination, and a clear vision of prosperity, you will discover that your subconscious begins to deliver new conditions, new opportunities, and new energy that align with abundance. What makes this even more fascinating is that the subconscious doesn't filter or judge what you plant. It accepts whatever you repeat with enough intensity and emotion. It doesn't matter if the thought is positive or negative, wise or foolish, abundant or scarce. What matters is the repetition and the emotional charge behind it. That is why people who constantly feed themselves with negative news, with discouraging conversations, or with beliefs of failure often find those exact patterns mirrored back into their lives. The subconscious simply responds to the dominant vibration it receives. Now, when you are past the age of 40, you may have already noticed how some of those deep beliefs have shaped your financial journey. Maybe you were taught as a child that money is hard to earn, or that wealth is only for lucky people, or that opportunities are scarce. Without realizing it, those old statements became programs written in your subconscious. And the truth is, those programs will keep running until you consciously decide to change them. But here's the good news. You absolutely can change them. The subconscious is powerful, but it is also obedient. It can be trained, redirected, and conditioned to serve your prosperity instead of sabotaging it. One of the key ideas Hill presents is that the subconscious mind responds most effectively to thoughts that are mixed with emotion. In other words, it is not enough to simply repeat words mechanically. If you say, "I am prosperous," but inside you feel doubt, fear, or sarcasm, the subconscious will pick up the emotion of disbelief, not the words. That is why faith, enthusiasm, love, hope, and positive expectation are such essential allies. When you combine your desire with genuine emotion, the subconscious receives the command as real and begins to transform it into action and circumstances. Let's bring this into a practical example for someone in their 40s or 50s who is trying to rebuild financially. Suppose you've had a history of debt or missed opportunities, and you are working hard to create a fresh start. If every day you tell yourself, "It's too late, I've already made too many mistakes, I'll never recover," you are sending those messages straight into the soil of your subconscious. And guess what? It will respond by creating more of the same conditions, more obstacles, more limitations, more confirmations that your belief was correct. But if you shift the language, if you begin to feed your subconscious with phrases like, "Every day I am learning new ways to create prosperity," or I still have time to build wealth and freedom, or my past does not define my future. You are planting entirely new seeds. With repetition and genuine emotion, those seeds begin to take root, and over time, they start to change your outer results. Hill also reminds us that we must learn to shut the door of the subconscious to negative influences. That doesn't mean pretending problems don't exist, but it does mean you must be careful with what you allow to dominate your attention. Think of it like a garden. If you plant roses but allow weeds to grow unchecked, eventually the weeds will take over. In the same way, if you consciously affirm prosperity but constantly allow fear, gossip, or negativity to dominate your mind, the weeds of scarcity will choke out the roses of abundance. Protect your mental soil by choosing carefully what you read, what you watch, and who you spend time with. Surround yourself with voices and environments that affirm your growth, not your decline. Another point that Napoleon Hill emphasizes is the importance of autosuggestion. Autosuggestion is the practice of deliberately feeding your subconscious with repeated affirmations, ideas, and images that align with your goals. For someone over 40, this can be one of the most practical tools available, because it allows you to overwrite decades of unhelpful programming. If you start and end your day with affirmations of prosperity, if you visualize yourself already living in financial freedom, and if you combine those images with strong emotion, you are sending clear instructions to your subconscious. Over time, it accepts those instructions as truth, and then it begins to reorganize your behavior, your energy, and even your opportunities to match the new belief. Now, here's something important to understand. The subconscious is always listening, even when you are not paying attention. That means careless words, constant complaints, or repeated jokes about being broke also make an impression. So, it is not enough to practice affirmations for 5 minutes in the morning and then spend the rest of the day speaking scarcity. Consistency is the key. Every thought and every word is a seed. If you want your harvest to be abundance, you must be intentional about what you plant from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep. Hill also speaks about the emotional language of the subconscious, and here he gives us a practical roadmap. He outlines 7 major positive emotions and 7 major negative emotions. The positive ones include desire, faith, love, sex, enthusiasm, romance, and hope. The negative ones include fear, jealousy, hatred, revenge, greed, superstition, and anger. Think about that list. If you reflect on your financial journey after 40, which of those emotions has been dominant? Have you been driven by fear, anxiety, or anger about money? Or have you been able to cultivate hope, enthusiasm, and faith that you can create something new? This is not about judgment. It is about awareness. Once you become aware, you can deliberately shift your dominant emotional state. For example, if fear has been dominant, you can start practicing faith through small daily steps, trusting that your effort will bring results, trusting that opportunities still exist for you. If discouragement has been dominant, you can begin to cultivate enthusiasm by reminding yourself of small victories and progress you've made. And if regret has been dominant, you can begin to plant hope by focusing on the opportunities that still lie ahead rather than the mistakes behind you. By making these emotional shifts, you are literally redirecting the current of energy that flows through your subconscious mind. Another beautiful truth about the subconscious is that it does not operate in isolation. It connects with infinite intelligence, or what some might call divine wisdom, universal mind, or higher power. When you align your subconscious with positive emotion and a clear vision, it is as though you send a direct signal into this universal intelligence. And in return, guidance, ideas, and opportunities come back to you in ways that often feel like coincidences, but are actually the result of alignment. Many people over 40 have experienced this. When you finally decide to change, when you finally shift your focus toward prosperity, Suddenly, you meet the right person, stumble across the right opportunity, or find the exact book or video you needed. That is not an accident. It is your subconscious linking with infinite intelligence to bring you what you asked for. So, if you are in your 40s, 50s, or beyond, wondering if it's too late to build prosperity, remember this: your subconscious mind is ageless. It does not care how many mistakes you've made or how old you are. It only cares about the instructions you give it today. If you feed it scarcity, it will produce scarcity. If you feed it abundance, it will produce abundance. And if you do so with persistence, emotion, and faith, it will open doors that you never imagined possible. This chapter is really a call to action. Don't let your subconscious be programmed by default anymore. Take charge of it. Feed it deliberately. Choose faith over fear, hope over regret, and enthusiasm over discouragement. The harvest will not appear overnight, but just as surely as planted seeds eventually push through the soil, your new reality will emerge in time. Did you enjoy the content? Then hit the like button, share your thoughts in the comments, send this video to more people, and click to subscribe with notifications on. And if you're ready to take the next step to transform your financial life, check out the link right below this video in the first pinned comment.